Adam Schiff coming out on camera numerous times saying, I can't tell you what I've seen, but I've seen things. There's a lot more than circumstantial evidence about this collusion.
But there is more than circumstantial evidence. There is circumstantial evidence of collusion. The Russians offered help, which we know they did. The campaign accepted help, which we know they did.
And you got Hillary Clinton saying, an air of illegitimacy around Trump's victory because of this. I mean, she was very clear about it.
Last March, you said you had more than circumstantial evidence of treasonous collusion with Russia.
Certainly said that there's ample evidence of collusion. I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy.
The noose is tightening on Trump. It's all going to come out. He's an agent of Russia.
Joe Rogan just went off on Adam Schiff, and he didn't just throw casual jabs. He tore through him with a kind of raw, unfiltered truth that Schiff has been ducking for years. Schiff has built his entire political identity on smoke, mirrors, and promises of bombshells that never materialize, and Rogan wasn't having any of it. He blasted Schiff as nothing more than a political hustler, the kind of career player who mistakes endless TV segments for actual credibility. Rogan cuts through the act, calling Schiff out as a tired salesman trying to pitch a busted product, one that only the gullible or the desperately partisan are still buying.
Called him a Russian asset.
Listen, Adam Schiff, he was the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Adam Schiff knew. He never saw any evidence that Trump was in collusion with the Russians, or that the Russians were interfering in American elections, or that there may have been evidence of that, but there was no evidence that Russia and Trump were in collusion. And he kept saying it. He kept saying it on every news outlet he could. And he knew otherwise. And no one's held him to task for it.
And that's the sting of it. Rogan didn't exaggerate. He exposed Schiff exactly as he is. A man who confuses performance with leadership and still believes he can keep the con alive with enough theatrics. Schiff has made a career out of dangling carrots that never existed. For years he hyped up smoking guns, earth-shattering revelations, and bombshell evidence that somehow always fizzled into dust. And when the carrots turned rotten, Schiff just shrugged, promised another one was coming, and expected people to follow him down the rabbit hole all over again. Rogan didn't let him slide. He called Schiff's entire routine what it really is, a con. Schiff plays magician, but there's no rabbit in the hat, no trick behind the curtain, just a tired performer asking the audience to clap anyway. And here's the crazy part. People keep falling for it. Schiff polishes his words just enough to make it sound like he knows some secret no one else does. But Rogan's audience doesn't buy those games. They don't have patience for riddles, evasions, or promises with no receipts. They demand truth. And when Rogan ripped into Schiff, he didn't just poke fun. He shredded the lazy cowardice hiding beneath that polished veneer. Schiff has never fought for the people. He spent years hiding behind committees, behind leaks, behind headlines, never behind real action.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorites.
Term that Mueller and congressional investigations also revealed that Don Jr. was informed that a Russian official was offering the Trump campaign, quote, very high-level and sensitive information, unquote, that would be incriminating if Hillary Clinton was part of, quote, Russia and its government support of Mr. Trump. You aware of that?
Sure, people get phone calls all the time from individuals who claim to have information like that.
Really, the son of a presidential candidate gets calls all the time from before in government offering dirt on their opponent? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think this is unique.
Rogan made it clear. Schiff's entire political career looks less like leadership and more like a parasite feeding on gullible voters and a media addicted to cliffhangers. For years, Schiff strutted across television stages, puffing his chest, declaring that the big reveal was right around the corner. And yet, every single time, the so-called evidence either didn't exist or was so flimsy it collapsed under the weight of a sneeze. Rogan sliced through the nonsense, comparing Schiff to a cheap Netflix series that somehow keeps getting renewed despite a played-out storyline. Same plot, same tired drama, same recycled suspense. And the audience isn't buying it anymore. That's why Rogan's roast stung so deeply. It wasn't hyperbole. It was truth. Schiff doesn't just overpromise occasionally. His entire career lives in a constant state of overpromise. He's a compulsive gambler, swearing the next hand will finally be the jackpot. But every time he flips the cards, it's another humiliating fold. And Rogan didn't stop at exposing the overhype. He showed how Schiff's act isn't harmless political theater. It's dangerous incompetence. Years of wasted time, years of distraction, Years of Americans glued to cliffhangers that led nowhere, all while real crises festered and burned.
Holy shit.
Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files.
And will you be able to review hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am asked to look at.
Of course you won't. So will you advise the president?
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want?
You'll be able to review
I'm not going to
cases on the first day?
mislead this body, nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me answer
You were
another question.
censured by Congress, Senator, for comments.
Schiff turned politics into bad performance art. And the worst part? He wasn't even good at the act. He strutted with arrogance, carrying himself as if every word he uttered was gospel, as if merely declaring himself a man of integrity made him untouchable. Rogan torched that arrogance. He mocked it, ripped it apart, and exposed Schiff for what he truly is. The loud kid in the group project who does the least but still insists his name be bold on the cover page. Schiff's entire brand has always been posturing without production, noise without results. Once Rogan started pulling receipts, that hollow image shattered. And here's where Rogan's takedown hit harder than any late-night comedian could ever hope to. He painted Schiff as nothing more than smoke. Hollow, formless, empty haze drifting in the political atmosphere. Schiff's career has been built on noise, not results, illusion, not leadership. And the devastating part is that this kind of politician isn't unique. He's just the poster boy, the face of an establishment addicted to theater. Americans are sick of it. They're tired of being lied to, tired of endless promises, tired of politicians who act like television pundits instead of leaders. Schiff is the smug, polished mask of everything people can't stand about D.C. The empty performance, the fake integrity, the smug speeches with no accountability.
Holy shit, Jamie, pull that video up.
As for this new FBI whistleblower report, I understand Kash Patel last night declassified a 302 FBI document showing that a whistleblower who is a Democrat, a career intelligence officer who worked for Democrats on the House Intel Committee for more than a decade, repeatedly warned the FBI in 2017 that then Rep. Adam Schiff had approved leaking classified information to smear then President Donald Trump over the Russiagate scandal. This is obviously a bombshell whistleblower report. Hopefully more people in this room will cover it as...
Rogan didn't exaggerate. He didn't need to. He just showed Schiff for what he really is. A man who wouldn't last 5 minutes in the real world where people expect results. Schiff can only survive in the Washington bubble because outside of it, he would collapse instantly. And listen, if you're feeling the same frustration with this endless political theater, if you're done with politicians selling drama instead of solutions, then hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. We're breaking this stuff down raw, unfiltered, every single day. Don't let the establishment's favorite smoke machine keep clouding your vision. Stick with us, stay alert, and stay informed. Back to Schiff. This isn't just about arrogance. It's about hypocrisy. Schiff parades himself as a moral compass, a self-righteous truth-teller. Yet he's one of the most shameless players in the game. Rogan ripped through that mask like it was paper. He mocked Schiff's fake moral high ground, showing how laughable it truly is. Schiff's arrogance doesn't just make him a hypocrite, it makes him a punchline. He's comedy gold, except the joke's on the people who trusted him. Rogan didn't just stop at the past. He dragged Schiff for still running the same tired scam today. Schiff hasn't learned, hasn't grown, hasn't changed. He's stuck on repeat like a glitching robot looping the same broken line again and again. Watching Schiff is like watching bad improv where the performer repeats the same joke, praying it lands this time. But it never does. And that's why Rogan's takedown landed so brutally. Once you see Schiff through that lens, you can't unsee it. He's not a bold leader. He's a cartoon version of everything wrong with modern politics. Rogan didn't just point it out. He smashed the caricature to pieces. He called Schiff out for building his identity around being Washington's hall monitor, the sanctimonious scold who insists every crisis, every scandal, every debate must somehow run through him. Schiff pretends as if the Republic would collapse without his lectures. Rogan made that sound as absurd as it truly is. Schiff isn't saving democracy. He's saving his seat. He isn't protecting the Constitution. He's protecting his spotlight. Schiff breathes drama the way the rest of us breathe oxygen. The moment cameras roll, He transforms into a grim, self-important figure, warning about dark threats lurking in the shadows. But peel back the curtain, and there's nothing there. Just recycled lines, empty illusions. The same tired script replayed on a loop. Rogan nailed it with a devastating analogy. Schiff is like a horror movie director who keeps promising a jump scare that never comes. Instead of scaring the audience, he leaves them rolling their eyes. That's Schiff's brand: hype, suspense, and no payoff. And Rogan didn't let the fake strategist act slide either. Schiff sells himself as some master of political chess, a genius operator pulling strings in the shadows. But look at the record. Blunder after blunder, misstep after misstep, all hidden under a mountain of press conferences. The more Schiff tries to sell himself as some prophet of corruption, the more pathetic he looks. Rogan made sure everyone saw through the act. Schiff spends so much energy branding himself as the truth teller, he forgot the fundamental rule. Truth doesn't need marketing. Truth doesn't need a PR campaign. If you have it, you show it. Schiff never has. What he sells isn't truth, it's suspense. He drags Americans along like it's some Netflix thriller, except here's the difference. You can't just cancel Adam Schiff halfway through. You're stuck with him until voters finally press stop. And here's where Rogan's brilliance shone. He didn't just call Schiff out. He tied Schiff's arrogance to the larger frustration millions of Americans feel. Schiff is the textbook politician who stares into a camera, swears he's fighting for the people, then turns around and does the exact opposite. The hypocrisy is blinding. Schiff doesn't deliver solutions. He delivers speeches. And whenever someone challenges him, Schiff pulls out his favorite trick, playing the victim. He spins every critique into an attack on democracy itself. Rogan mocked that routine mercilessly, comparing it to a magician yelling, "Look over there," while fumbling the trick right in front of the crowd. Schiff's entire career is a cycle of blaming critics and pretending doubt equals treason. Rogan ripped that to shreds, exposing how ridiculous it looks without the sanctimonious smokescreen, and then came the hammer blow, Schiff's grand ambition. Rogan made it clear, Schiff isn't running for higher office to serve the people. He's chasing a bigger stage, a brighter spotlight, a primetime audience. Schiff doesn't crave responsibility. He craves attention. Rogan skewered that ambition, comparing Schiff to an actor begging for a sequel after bombing in the first movie. Schiff wants the drama, not the duty. He's not seeking leadership. He's seeking relevance. And the desperation shows. Rogan didn't hold back. Schiff doesn't deserve a promotion. He deserves retirement. That's the brilliance of Rogan's dismantling. He blended comedy with hard truth. Once you see Schiff through Rogan's eyes, the illusion collapses. The fake gravitas, the endless promises, the grandstanding, they all crumble under the weight of reality. Schiff is the perfect example of a politician who confuses persistence with credibility. He thinks showing up over and over somehow makes him trustworthy. But repetition without substance doesn't build credibility. It builds static. Schiff hasn't become a trusted leader. He's become political background noise. The kind of static people scroll past when they're exhausted from scandal after scandal. At the end of the day, Rogan showed Schiff for what he really is. Not courageous, not clear, not a leader, but a desperate performer clinging to relevance. Schiff performs because he has nothing else to offer. He has no solutions left to sell. And Rogan left him exactly where he belongs, as a cautionary tale of political overreach. Schiff is proof of how far a politician will go to protect his seat instead of serving the people. A hollow man in a suit, clinging to headlines and sound bites, hoping no one notices there's nothing behind the curtain. So when Rogan lit into him, it wasn't just mockery. It was revelation. Schiff is a relic of politics as theater, and Rogan handed him the final review. 1 star, no sequel, time to retire. And if you're tired of watching these same tired political performances, if you're sick of politicians chasing cameras instead of solutions, make sure you're subscribed right here. We'll keep exposing the illusions, breaking down the acts and shining a light on the truth the establishment wants hidden. Because once you see through their smoke, you can never unsee it. And the more people who wake up to the act, the sooner we can finally end this political theater once and for all.